Have you ever paused to think about why, despite having more ways to connect than ever, we seem to understand each other less? It's a modern paradox that the very tools meant to unite us can also drive us apart. But what if I told you that the solution to this divide isn't in technology or modern innovations, but in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism? Yes, Stoicism, a philosophy from the early 3rd century BC, might hold the keys to a more compassionate and connected world. Imagine living in a society where we respond with thoughtfulness instead of reacting, where we approach every interaction with curiosity and a desire to understand rather than judgment. The Stoics had this figured out centuries ago. They taught that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Apply this to every miscommunication, conflict, and disagreement we face today, and the implications are profound. In our fast-paced, notification-filled lives, Stoicism serves as a grounding force, reminding us of the power of perspective, the importance of inner peace, and the value of empathy. Stick around, and I promise you'll gain a fresh perspective on navigating the complexities of human relationships in our interconnected world, armed with timeless wisdom that's more relevant today than ever. Let's explore the Stoic way of living together and see how these ancient principles can transform our modern lives. In our daily lives, we often encounter situations that push us toward quick judgments, labeling things as right or wrong, good or bad. But if you take a moment to reflect, isn't life much more complex than this black and white view? This is where Stoic wisdom enlightens us. Stoicism isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about understanding and interpreting our experiences free from extreme emotional swings or rigid thought patterns. Think of Stoicism as a guiding friend, encouraging us to look beyond the surface. As the famous Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "Everything we hear is an opinion. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." This quote captures the essence of Stoicism, exploring the shades of gray between the black and white. Let's consider that truth might not be absolute, a concept predating Stoicism. Going back to Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, Socrates taught us the value of admitting our ignorance as the first step toward true knowledge. Plato, in his allegory of the cave, showed how our perceptions can be misleading. Aristotle advised seeking balance rather than extremes with his golden mean. Stoicism echoes these ancient thoughts and brings them into our modern context. Stoics, like Seneca, emphasize controlling our reactions to external events rather than the events themselves. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality," reminding us that our emotional responses often amplify our troubles. Then there's Epictetus, another celebrated Stoic who taught that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. He famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This fundamental Stoic principle focuses on our internal responses rather than external circumstances. But Stoicism isn't the only philosophy shedding light on this approach. Let's leap to the 20th century and look at Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist who founded analytical psychology. Jung believed in the power of integrating opposites within the psyche for personal growth. He once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This aligns closely with Stoic philosophy, the idea that acknowledging and understanding the full spectrum of experiences, rather than just the positive or easy ones, leads to true wisdom. By combining ancient Stoic teachings with insights from Western philosophy and psychology, we can see that life's challenges are rarely black and white. They're filled with a multitude of colors and shades, each adding depth and richness to our understanding of the world. Through this lens, we can appreciate the complexity of our experiences, learn from them, and grow. The world we live in often seems to push us to choose sides. Everywhere you turn, there's a debate or a dichotomy: capitalism or socialism, tradition or innovation, emotion or logic. It's like we're constantly at a crossroads, forced to pick a lane. But what if real wisdom lies in not rushing to choose a side? This is where Stoicism, an incredibly relevant and insightful philosophy, comes into play. Stoicism, dating back to ancient Greece and Rome, isn't about picking one extreme over another. It's about finding balance and gaining perspective. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus were all about understanding the value in different viewpoints and finding harmony between them. They encouraged us to ask ourselves, what do we miss when we hastily box ourselves into one corner? What insights are we overlooking by not exploring the space in between? Take the dichotomy between emotion and logic, for instance. Instead, Stoicism teaches us that both emotion and logic have their place. It's not about suppressing our feelings or overvaluing cold, hard logic. It's about understanding and managing our emotions and using our rational mind to navigate life's complexities. Stoics believed in an inner tranquility that comes from balance. They didn't see emotion and logic as opposing forces, but as complementary tools for dealing with life's challenges. Then there's the debate between tradition and innovation. It's easy to think we must choose one over the other, but Stoicism invites us to a different approach. It encourages us to respect and learn from the past, while being open and adaptable to new ideas and changes. Marcus Aurelius said, "Adapt yourself to the life you've been given, and truly love the people with whom destiny has surrounded you." This quote encapsulates the Stoic mindset, embracing and making the best of what we have while being open to growth and change. And what about the big economic debates like capitalism versus socialism? Stoicism doesn't give us a direct answer on which system is better. Instead, it guides us to look deeper, beyond surface-level arguments. It urges us to consider how we can find a middle ground where the positive aspects of both systems are maximized. Stoicism teaches us the value of looking at issues from multiple angles, encouraging a more holistic understanding. There's something interesting about the way we often think, this tendency to fall into binary thinking. You've seen it, right? It's like when we categorize everything into simple pairs, this or that, yes or no, black or white. It's like turning the rich, vibrant tapestry of life into a straightforward two-tone picture. It can be really appealing to think this way because it's straightforward and easy. It simplifies the world around us in a way that feels manageable. But here's where Stoicism, this profound and time-tested philosophy, brings a different perspective. Stoicism teaches us that going for the easy binary option isn't necessarily the most enlightening or fulfilling path. It's like what the famous Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This idea is a game changer. It suggests that life isn't just a series of straightforward choices or dichotomies. Instead, it's about the nuanced reactions and the middle paths we choose in response to these choices. When we adopt a Stoic mindset, we start to see the world in a more fluid, flexible way. We begin to recognize that life's answers are often found in the "and" rather than the "or." It's about understanding that two seemingly opposing ideas can coexist and even complement each other. For instance, you can be logical and emotional, strong and compassionate, practical and idealistic. It's not about choosing one over the other, but about finding a balance, a harmony between these elements. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius really embodied this idea. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius constantly urged himself to look beyond the surface to see the interconnectedness of all things. He believed in embracing the complexity of life, acknowledging that the universe is a place of constant change and flux. By doing this, he found a way to maintain inner peace and resilience in the face of life's challenges. This Stoic approach of avoiding binary thinking can be incredibly liberating. It opens up a world of possibilities that binary thinking keeps shut. When we stop categorizing everything strictly as one thing or another, we start to appreciate the diversity and richness of life. We become more tolerant, more open-minded and more understanding. We become better equipped to handle the complexities and contradictions that life inevitably throws our way. So the next time you find yourself slipping into that comfortable mode of binary thinking, try to pause and consider the Stoic way. Ask yourself, is there a middle path here? Can I embrace both sides of this equation? By doing so, you're not just finding answers. You're opening doors to new perspectives, new understandings, and ultimately, a more enlightened way of living. Remember, life's beauty and wisdom often lie in the gray areas, in the spaces between the black and white. It's in these spaces that we often find the most profound insights and the most meaningful experiences. Think about this. Every single idea or belief we come across has its own bit of truth, but at the same time it has its limitations. It's a bit like looking at a coin. There's always another side. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who were all about wisdom and virtue, really understood this. They saw the value in looking at opposing ideas, not just to argue or prove a point, but to really understand and grow from them. It's like how light needs darkness. Without darkness, would we even appreciate how vital and beautiful light is? Or think about silence.